Hello. In my last video on Rabindranath Tagore's Where the Mind is Without Fear, I tried to give you a line by line explanation of the poem. Today I am going to discuss 15 MCQ questions from the text. Let's move on to the questions. The first question: where does the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear occur? The options are as poem number 35 in Gitanjali, as poem number 45 in Gitanjali, the third option as the opening poem of Noivedya, and the last option is as the last poem in Noivedya. The correct option is as the poem number 35 in Gitanjali. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear was originally composed in Bengali, possibly in 1900, under the title Prarthana, and appeared in the volume Noivedya. Later, in 1911, Tagore himself translated it into English and it appeared as poem number 35 in Gitanjali. So, the correct option is the first option as poem number 35 in Gitanjali. The next question is, what was the title of the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear when it was first published in Bengali? The options are first Noivedya, second Prarthana, third Bojhapara, and the last option Hotat Dekha. The correct answer is the second option, Prarthana. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear was originally composed in Bengali and included in the volume Noivedya under the title Prarthana, meaning prayer. Next question: what does the phrase head is held high in the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear suggest? The options are freedom of enjoying political rights, option 2 freedom of expression, option 3 freedom of mind and self respect, and the last option is freedom to take education. The correct answer is the third option, that is freedom of mind and self respect. In the poem, Tagore prays to the Almighty to awake his country into the heaven of freedom where people will be fearless and they have dignity of their own. Next question: into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. The country here refers to, the options are first Russia, second Japan, third India, and the last option Bangladesh. The correct answer is the third option, that is India. Though in the poem Tagore's idea of internationalism is very clear, but the country in particular refers to India. Next question: where does the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic worlds? What does the poet mean here by narrow domestic worlds? The options are first the sectarian approach of the people, option 2 the utilitarian approach of the people, option 3 the selfish approach of the people, and the last option the socio-economic approach of the people. The correct option is the sectarian approach of the people. In the poem, Tagore tells us how the people of a particular province, how the people of a particular country is only thinking of their own welfare and not doing anything which will go for the welfare of the whole human race. Next question: where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, What figures of speech is used in the line? The options are first metaphor, second personification, third simile, and the last option climax. The correct answer is the second option, that is personification. Personification is a figures of speech where an abstract idea or an inanimate object is given human attributes. Here in the line striving, an abstract idea is imagined as if it has two arms and it is stretching its arms towards perfection. So, an abstract idea is given here human attributes, which is a case of personification. Metaphor is a figures of speech where two dissimilar things are compared in an implicit way, and simile is a figures of speech where again two dissimilar things are compared, but in case of simile the comparison is a very direct one in a very explicit manner with the help of like or as. Climax is a figures of speech where the words are arranged in an ascending order of importance. Next question. In the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, reason is compared to a, the options are first mountain, second river, third lake, and the last option valley. The correct answer is river. In the poem we have the line where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Their reason is compared with a clear stream, a river whose water is very clear. Question number 8. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. What does the phrase dead habit refer to in the poem? The options are first changing habits, second bad habits, third good habits, and the last option unchanging habits. The correct answer is the last option, that is unchanging habits. Dead habits in the poem refers to the superstitious beliefs, the outdated customs and traditions which are followed by people, and these are followed when people lost their rational thinking. In the poem this dead habit is compared to the dreary desert sand. Question number 9. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. What does the phrase heaven of freedom refer to? The options are first the poet's native land, second the poet's dreamland, third the poet's motherland, and the last option the poet's fatherland. The correct answer is the second option, that is the poet's dreamland. In the poem, Tagore talks about a world where people will be fearless, they will possess dignity of their own, where knowledge will be free, and people of a particular country, of a particular province will not only think about their own welfare, but they will also think about the welfare of the human race in common. A world where words will come out from the depth of truth, people will be industrious and they will be rational and not superstitious, where the mind of the people will lead forward by the Almighty into ever widening thought and action. So, Tagore in the poem talks about his dreamland and prays to the Almighty to awake his own country, India, into that heaven of freedom, into that dreamland which he talks about in the poem. Question number 10. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, what does the word fragments mean? The options are: first, small cities; second, little parts; option 3, small countries; and the last option, small pieces. The correct option is the last one, that is small pieces. Question number 11. The clear stream of reason. What figurative speech is used here? The options are: first, simile; second, metaphor; third, personification; and the last, oxymoron. The correct answer is metaphor. In the phrase, reason is implicitly compared with a clear stream, so it is an example of metaphor. The figures of speech, simile and personification, I have discussed it in earlier. Oxymoron is a figures of speech where two opposite words are placed side by side for emphasis. Question number 12. In the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, there are 7 clauses with which of the following relative pronouns? The options are: when, option 2, where, third, who, and the last option, which. The correct answer is the second option, that is where. One of the important feature of this poem is that it is a single line poem with 7 clauses beginning with the relative pronoun where. Question number 13. In the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, whom does the word my father refer to? The options are: first, Tagore's father; second, the Almighty; third, Jesus Christ; and the last option, Lord Buddha. The correct answer is the second option, the Almighty. By referring to the Almighty as my father, Tagore intensifies his prayer to lead his country into the heaven of freedom. But besides that, he also expresses the point that all the people of the world are the children of the Almighty, the Father, and thus expresses the idea of world brotherhood. Next question. The expression tireless striving in the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear refers to: first, slavery; second, endless efforts; third, dependence; and the last option, liberty from the foreign rule. The correct answer is endless efforts. Striving means efforts or struggles, and the adjective tireless means showing great efforts or energy. The last question. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. The word thee in the poem refers to: first option, the readers; second, the people; third, the Almighty; and fourth, the rulers. The correct answer is the third one, that is the Almighty. In the last 2 lines of the poem, we find that Tagore is giving us a kind of moral awakening. He addresses the God as his father and prays him to lead forward the mind of people into ever widening thought and action, and to awake his country into the heaven of freedom. Apart from these 15 MCQ questions, numerous MCQs can be framed from the poem. For that, you need to read the poem in very detail. You need to understand every words of the poem. You need to understand the figures of speech which are used in the poem. For that, I have a separate video. The link is in the description box. If you feel interested, you may go to that link to watch that full video. Thank you very much for watching the video.